They are making me put a warning label on this podcast talking about adult language and adult situations. First of all, these kids are already adults. They've had phones in their hands from the time they were 4 years old. They're watching porn, they smoking, they cussing, they having sex. But I have to warn them about my podcast? Whatever.
ElectraCast. When I first started doing comedy, I was married to a man. Now I'm married to a woman, so I got a whole different story I'm telling on stage now. You know, I'm a bull dagger now. That's what they say.
Welcome to Nightmare Road Stories, where we visit and talk to the most popular, hottest comics working the road today. I'm your host, Alycia Cooper, and I will be speaking with Rita Brent today and getting her nightmare story on the road. And I'm such a fan of Rita's. I've been a fan of Rita's for a long, long time. I was one of Rita's earliest fans. It was like Rita's mama, Rita's wife, then me. I was the third Rita Brent fan. And I'm just over the moon to have her on the show today. She is just so awesome and so multi-talented and young. I remember those days when I had good knees. Rita still has good knees. She is just so impressive. She is the future. And I'm going to read a little bit of Rita's bio. She's a comedian, musician, and military veteran from Jackson, Mississippi. During her childhood, she developed musical skill sets and talent shows in Southern Baptist churches, performing as a drummer and singer alongside her mother. See, the talent just runs deep in her family. She joined the 41st Army National Guard Band at the age of 18, where she served for 9 years and ended her time in service as a sergeant. Rita graduated from her beloved HBCU, Jackson State University, with a bachelor's degree in mass and speech communication and pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It was there that she launched a public radio career, landed at Mississippi Public Broadcasting in 2011, and served as a radio host and producer for 6 years. In March 2013, Rita made a sharp career turn and became a stand-up comedian. In her brief career, she has already been featured on Heart of the City, on Comedy Central, starred in True TV's Laugh Mob's Laugh Tracks, appeared on Circle TV, Stand Up Nashville, and listed by Thrillers as the best undiscovered comedian in Mississippi. Rita has released 3 singles. Kamala, a song of solidarity for our VP-elect Kamala Harris, is the latest. She tours occasionally as a feature act with her mentor, Ricky Smiley, and has also appeared on Cedric the Entertainer's Rock Your Brim comedy tour. Rita is signed to the Buckwald Talent Agency in New York City. Now, let me let you know, to be signed by any agency as a young Black woman is a big deal, because there's a lot of obstacles to us getting some breaks around here. But that's how you know her talent is undeniable. You know, and I'm glad to have her on today because I'm going through it right now because everybody around me got their stimulus but me. So I'm trying to figure out how I ain't been stimulated yet. You know, I don't know what's going on, but I needs my Monte. And I know that everything is divine by the Lord because we only getting $600. Now, if we had gotten $2,000 and I ain't get it, I'd have been a mass shooter right now. You know, $600, I'm like, okay, you know what? I ain't getting my 6. If I ain't get my 2K, woo! So that's the reason why the Lord didn't approve 2K, because he knows I'd be a hot fool. I ain't get my stimulus yet. So to be talking to Rita is the stimulus that I need. As a matter of fact, we're going to show you a clip just to let you know just a little bit of Rita's genius. Just take a look.
See, y'all think holding people hostage in church make them more godly, but that ain't, if God ain't in your heart, it don't matter if you're in church or not, you know? So let the people go, goddammit. We tired of sitting up in there. Then they be talking about the gay people, you know, the preachers, they be talking about the gay people, and I don't be liking that, you know, because really the gay folks do everything in the church. They play the organ, the piano, they deacons, they preachers. And they are really good worship leaders. These churches will be boring as hell without gay worship leaders. They would. Like you can't damn them to hell, but use them for their talents in the same breath. You can't do that. I'm telling you, man, them gay worship leaders, they usher in all the spirits. All of them. Y'all don't hear them, they be like, amazing grace, how sweet, sweet potato pie sweet, pound cake sweet, sugar cookie sweet, the sound that, yeah, say, a wretch like me, bitch, I once. Who finna let that kind of talent go? Nobody?
Oh man, that's just a little bit of Rita Brent. You can find her stuff all over social media, all over YouTube. Rita is the future. First of all, nobody in comedy got a shape like that. I don't care what age they are. No 18-year-olds, no 20-year-olds, no 30-year-olds. How the hell did you get a body like that? What the hell are you eating? Or what the hell are you not eating?
There it is. I ain't eating a lot. That's what it is. Bird food. I eat about 2 spoonfuls. I be like, you know what? I'm full. And then that's it. So that's it.
Is your mama thin? I got to get to the bottom of this.
She was before she had me and my little sister. Yeah, now she blessed back there now. She said she prayed for a big booty when she was young. Now she got it and she don't want it.
She got the big booty. Okay, because I'm looking at Jada Pinkett Smith and Jada mama. I can't remember the mother's name right now. But the mama 98 pounds, Jada 98 pounds.
And I'm 95.
That's a little family. Right. You 95. I think you a Pinkett. I think you're really a Pinkett.
I wish I get some of that Pinkett money.
You need to get that DNA test done because something's going on. Ain't 3 of y'all that small.
I would love to be entangled with the Pinkett family. I sure damn would.
You want entanglement in August, September, October, and November.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about how you got your start in comedy because you are just so hilarious. Like, what made you say, I'm going to make this leap?
You know, I always felt like I was funny as a kid, but I was doing music. I was drumming, and I thought that would be my call to fame. I wanted to play drums for Prince one day. But in 2013, one night in Jackson, Mississippi, I was just at a comedy show. I had never been to one, really. And while I was sitting there listening to them, I started getting chills in my belly and on my arms. My hair started rising. And I swear to you, Alycia, God spoke to me. He had a deep, very white-like voice and was like, you can do this. And I was like, whoa, word. And a couple weeks later, I was on stage telling jokes, and that was in 2013. So I literally just felt compelled to do it from that voice I heard from God, and I just decided to do it. I just didn't know that you could make money doing comedy. That first night I did it, I think I got $25 for 5 minutes. I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm definitely finna take this seriously. So that was a motivation. Yeah.
And see, that's one of the many things I love about people from the South. God always speaking to y'all.
Ain't it?
I'm from Maryland. He ain't said a daggone thing to me. And everything, y'all people from the South, boy, y'all love y'all Walmart and y'all church.
Yeah.
And God be speaking to y'all. I said, he done skipped over me. I guess Maryland ain't Southern enough.
But you got to be careful, though. You got to be careful because people be like, God told me to tell you to give me $100. And you be like, hold on. I don't know about that. That's you
God
talking.
told me to tell you hit this cash app. So, and how you get $25 that early on? I had to do comedy for a good 2 years for anybody pulled a nickel out. But then again, I started in LA. And I mean, I was at the back of the line when I started in LA. You know, everybody, LA is like New York with the amount of comedians. So they have to pay me for a good long time. And they didn't.
Yeah, but it's not like that in Mississippi. It was only a few of us, so we had money to share because it was only a few of us. Yeah, they felt right breaking you off. Okay, yeah, right. LA wasn't like that. They was tripping down in LA. It took me a minute, but I never thought I was going to do comedy as a career. I had a lucrative day job. Yeah, you know, but once I got tired of that, I was like, let me see what's going on over here. But I knew that people were making money out of it because I fell in love with the art form as a possible money-making situation when I saw Def Jam. Oh,
and so all those brilliant people coming out of Def Jam, and because we're novices until we get into this, I didn't realize that these people have been working out those jokes on the road for 5 years before we saw them. I just thought they was brilliant.
Right.
They made it look easy. We ain't realized a lot of people bombed and they never aired them.
Yes. Or they put the laughs in. Yeah.
The magic of editing. Exactly. So, okay, so you started getting paid. And then, so how did you know how to write material?
Well, honestly, Alycia, I didn't even want to be called a comedian when I first started because I knew I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, that first night I did comedy, my mom had come straight from church. She had on her church suit. She was sitting on the front row. And I'm pretty sure she was the only one that laughed that night. I might have had a few scarce chuckles that made me say, okay, if I really put some time into this, I can get good at it. So at first, I didn't like calling myself a comedian. I was like, just call me the little girl that's trying to tell jokes right now. So I started studying. I started watching all kinds of comedy. I'm talking about day and night. I was on my day job at public radio in Mississippi. And I spent all my days when I got off the air, I would go on YouTube and be studying Red Fox, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, writing down what topics they're talking about, how long was their setup, how many seconds people were laughing, just trying to get a feel for rhythm and pace. I still do that to this day because I've only been doing comedy for 7 years. And I've heard it's going to take, I don't know, at least 10 until I really find my footing. But what do you think, 10 years or what?
Yeah, I think 10 is a good barometer because you're really finding your voice and you should know really who you are by then. Yeah, 10, you be off to the races because you killing it at 7. But 10, yeah. It took me about that amount of time. Rita, I used to be so nervous on stage and I had to hear a laugh like every 30 seconds. So that's how I used to write my material. I need to hear laugh. Because if people weren't laughing, I felt like I was bombing. What I had to learn was, and that's when I started studying Cosby, what I had to learn was the silence only means they're listening.
That's right. Right.
So I had to get comfortable with silence. Now I'm too damn comfortable with silence. I don't care if you ever damn laugh because I'm having a good time. Whether you having a good time or not. But I had to learn that silence is your friend. They're paying attention. So I stopped writing jokes where I kept, I had to keep hearing the laughter because of my insecurities. Now I'm like, look, I'm going to tell this story and you're going to come along for the ride. But it took me about 10 years to get to that place.
Right. I'm just now starting to get to that point because especially in the South, they like that fast paced, knee jerking, slap your knee comedy, And I've been on the road with Ricky Smiley, and he has the ability to do that. But I just had to say, I'm not Ricky, okay? I'm gonna give you a few details to lead up to my punchline, and it's different for different crowds. Like some folks, you gotta punch them in the throat, otherwise they'll be looking at you like, "What are you talking about? Get on down here. We came to laugh our ass off." So I have learned that it's different in different regions of the world. You can get away with certain things. I was in New York for a year. I had to come on back because their rent was too damn high. But while I was in New York, it's some stuff I could get away with up there that I can't get away with in Mississippi, So I'm still figuring that out. But also my whole circumstances have changed. When I first started doing comedy, I was married to a man. Now I'm married to a woman. So I got a whole different story I'm telling on stage now. I'm a bulldagger now. That's what they say. I'm a bulldagger now.
You're a soft stud. You're a soft stud.
Soft.
But you get your material's changing. You got a pendulum with your material. It's swinging.
Swinging.
But I love it because it's like with the whole art form, you're always going to be learning. You're always going to be writing. You're always going to be evolving. And it just takes so much time. But the good thing is for me, about the 10th year, I had so much material. What I would do is I would look out in the audience and then I would decide my set list because you said, every audience is different and you can't do a one size fits all. One time I was at the Hollywood Improv. I looked out in the audience, 100% Asians.
Ooh. What you have in the catalog for that?
Man, I just had to hit them with my first joke. I was like, I ain't seen this many Asians since I was on the set of Rush Hour 2. Like, so then you got them. So if you hit them with the first joke, you can then start to exhale. So then this is when Rush Hour was the hot thing. So it was timely at the time. But they was in different groups like Asians, because people don't really consider them. You know, a lot of times they just like to be mentioned and considered and in the story. And, you know, so they had a great time. And then I went back to my regular, because I try to write universal themes. You know, so, but yeah, it's interesting because that's what I'll do. I don't decide what I'm going to talk about until I get there, because I got to see who came through the door.
Right. That's smart. That's smart. You got to be able to be flexible with it. Yes.
Yeah. So, and Ricky Smiley, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think you might have been there, because I just saw something over the weekend where he had where the money reside guy. Were you there?
Yeah. No, that was at the Stardome. I just got off the road with him in Miami for New Year's Eve weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you were at the Stardome. Yeah,
and he hosted. Ricky,
where the money reside guy hosted?
No, Ricky hosted. We were at the Miami Improv, and I told Rick, I said, hey, I hadn't been on stage since March 2019. And he was like, well, I'm just going to host, you know, because usually the headliner goes last, but that has helped me build my chops as well, going behind Ricky, because he'll get up and host and kill it and get the crowd warm for me, and then he'll bring me out. And, you know, that's a challenge, you know, to come up behind Ricky. So that's definitely helped me build my chops.
Yeah, that's a king of comedy. So
yes,
yeah, that's a beautiful space for you to be in, where you learning behind a master like him.
Yes, and he does not shy away from mentoring. I remember the first time I met Ricky, I had a little bottle of Jack Daniels. It wasn't this big. It was like a little, don't ask me why I got Jack Daniels in my office. It was a little bottle of Jack Daniels. And Ricky was like, you don't need that. Let your jokes be organic. Let it all come natural. The first time I met him, and ever since I met him in 2016, he has just been such a huge inspiration in helping me along my comedic journey.
Yeah, it's great to hear from somebody like that who's had the success and experienced it all and saw it all.
Yes.
You know, he done seen all these comics start stumbling to work and all. I done heard some crazy stories about comedians that went to work drunk. One guy was upstairs at the theater sleeping, and they looking all around him when they announcing him. So Ricky, I know Ricky done seen and heard it all. So he was right. That's why my mom didn't really want me to do comedy, because she didn't like nighttime jobs. She felt like them type of jobs ain't nothing good coming out of working at night with no human resources department.
Right. My granny said ain't nothing open at that time but legs. Ain't nothing open but legs at 2 a.m. I'm like, my Lord.
So, and I see here you remember Delta Sigma Theta. I was almost a Delta.
What happened?
Right after my freshman year of college, I played Eveline in the Wiz, and my college roommate had already pledged. So if that was a sorority, that would have been the only one I pledged. I really, really, really liked everything about it. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and pledge. And part of the application process was you had to have a letter of recommendation from a current member. So I had this lady I was going to go with. My mother says, no, go with this other lady. She's a distant cousin's friend. And not only is she a Delta, but her mother's a Delta. So your application is going to look doubly good, because she's a legacy. So I'm like, okay, mama. So the lady sends me this letter of recommendation. I turn in my entire packet, and she was not current in her dues. So my entire packet was null and void.
That's the catch.
Like, you know, if you ain't been paying your dues, you know you ain't paid your dues since 84.
That's the catch. Alycia, I'm not gonna lie to you. I pledged 2008. I just paid my dues last summer, so I ain't been able to write nobody. No, they've been asking me, can you write my baby a letter? I was like, I need to write myself a letter to make sure I'm still in the sorority. Hell, I can't write you no letter. I don't know, but right about now, I'm thinking about giving my letters back, because I ain't got my stimulus check either. I want a refund.
But I'm mad at the lady. I'm like, that lady should have told me I can't write yours. I'm not current.
Yeah, that was
foul. Surprised when I tell her.
She knew. She knew she wasn't
you
current.
ain't get no canceled check back. They said you didn't pay your dues. You knew. So that's the only reason.
It's not too late though, Alycia. It's not too late. If you want to play, you get honorary, become an honorary Delta, because we need somebody to run vice president or something. We can't let the AKAs be better than us for too long. So we need to start rearing somebody to run for office.
I need all honoraries at this point. I want an honorary doctorate.
Yes.
I want to be an honorary Delta.
Yes.
I'm at that age where everything got to come to me honorary.
That's facts. And go back to school for what?
So let's talk about your Dear Jesus prayer videos. First of all, I love those videos. I hit the notification bell so I can know when the next one coming.
Thank you.
How did you come up with that brilliant idea? I mean, well, first, that's the first question. And second, how do you make them so hilarious?
Okay, so the first time I did what I call satirical prayer, it was in 2016. I was in Jackson, Mississippi, my hometown, and it was just hot. I mean, Mississippi heat is a different kind of heat. And I just remember getting out the car and I opened the car door and I just started praying. You know, I was like, Lord, the block is hot, Lord. Even the devil say he hot. And I put it on Facebook and it got so much good feedback. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do another one. And so then I did a grammar prayer. I prayed to Grammar King of Kings, the grammar Jesus. And I put all this stuff in there about bad grammar. And I said, you know what? This is a way for me to get my perspective across, but in a funny way. Now, of course, you have some hardcore Christians who are like, don't be mocking God and all that. And I just block them or whatever, because they can't take a joke. But I do. Now I'm writing them and I'm getting hired to do these prayers. I have prayed to Rainbow Jesus for a LGBT coalition. All kind of people are asking for these prayers. Even atheists are like, I don't pray, but I'll pray to this. And I'm like, okay, will there be one? Only one, that's fine. So yeah, it just became a way for me to get my perspective across on different things. So, you know, I prayed to impeachment Jesus, election results Jesus, whatever is popping at the time, that's what I'm gonna pray about. And I throw little punchlines in between and I have a little church music behind the prayer. So I'm just gonna keep doing them. You know, at first I thought maybe people might be getting tired, but I get prayer requests every week about something.
Yeah. I love it. And the Kamala video, I love that one. Has anybody from her camp reached out to you?
Yes, actually, we're talking about sororities. Kamala's Lion sisters called me on 4-way one night, and it was a Maryland number. And of course, I thought I wasn't going to answer because I thought it was bill collectors. But it was at 11 o'clock, and they were like, hey, we're Kamala's Lion sisters. And I was like, yeah, right. And they were like, no, we pledged on the same line as Kamala. We heard your song. We love it. Kamala has heard it. She loves it. And they hired me to do some things with them to get Kamala in office. So yes, as far as I know, she likes the song. She has not called me personally. That would be amazing if she did. I would love to perform it in front of her. But yeah, I just wanted to do a song of solidarity. I felt like there was too much hatred happening about Kamala. A lot of narratives that were going around were false, or people just repeating stuff without doing research. And you know how it is being a woman of color. When you're in a leadership position, people start projecting. They don't trust you, or they're insecure and they want to tear you down. And the stuff that she's doing that they can't even do, would never be able to do. We got the nerve to say that she's not worthy. That was bothering me. So as an entertainer, I said, I'm going to put it in my music and I'm going to put it in my comedy. Yeah, well, you knocked that out the park. And I'm just so glad that somebody from an HBCU is in the White House. They love to act like if you ain't go to Harvard or Yale, you can't do nothing. Right. You know, and I'm like, come on, there's all these universities out here. We shouldn't be that ridiculous with it, especially when we know George W. was a C student at best and got in because he's a legacy. And I'm like, come on, man. Half these people ain't even taking their own SATs. It's a whole damn racket out here. But I'm so happy that Howard University, my mom was a Howard University grad, so she had my vote right there. Yes. So let's talk about where you want to go next, because you've had so much success in 7 years and just really beginning your career. Where do you want to go next? Like, where do you see yourself? What's the long game for you? You know, it's funny you asked that. I had just written down my goals for 2021. I do this every year. What do I want to do? I want to start a hat line. I want to read 1 book per week. I want to write a book. I want to do a 1-woman variety show this year. That's something I would like to do because I love doing stand-up, don't get me wrong, but because I can do music and because I feel like I'm smart and I can talk about stuff, I want to do a variety show where it's a combination of all my talents, but I just don't know how to conceptualize that just yet. And many people know that I freaking love hats. So I want to start a hat line this year. and get that going. And, you know, I'm going to create unisex for women, men, or whatever. Just kind of try to expand a little bit, because 2020 taught me that whatever it is that you want to do, you had better get to it, because you don't know when it could be your last breath. So I'm just going to take all the chances, take all the risks this year. And, you know, Alycia, sometimes I have this list, and then the year will just take me in a completely different direction. I never even thought that I would be rapping a song about Kamala Harris, you know, so I'm just open. And I'm just going to let the spirit lead me to whatever it is that I'm supposed to do next. I have some goals, but I'm just going to be open and not limit myself.
Well, I can't wait to see the hat line, because I know it's going to be fierce. And see, it look good on you. You got a little head. See, Make sure you get something for the healthily headed like myself.
That's what I'm going to call it. That's the category. Healthily headed folks.
The healthily headed folks like myself.
That's hilarious.
You know, you got to be politically correct nowadays. You ain't fat head. No, I'm healthily headed, motherfucker. Healthily
headed. That's right. That's right. What they call it, big bones. I'm just big bones. Right. That's all.
Big head bones.
And another thing I'm doing is I just started this thing called the Rita Brent Report. I love the news, much like yourself. That's one thing I really appreciate, your voice about the news. I love your perspective. So I'm starting the Rita Brent Report, where I cover the news satirically right here in this spot. I learned during the pandemic that as long as you have a bookcase, people think you're smart and they're going to listen to what you say. So this is one of my props for the show. And it's on my YouTube. I've done like 5 episodes so far of the Rita Brent Report. And I'll tie in songs and prayers into it while I'm recapping the news. So hopefully that'll get picked up by a big network at some point.
Yeah, this is going to be good. I mean, this little pandemic has slowed us down a little bit for a while, because production's grinded to a halt, you know, and then now everybody got to be COVID tested every other day, but stuff is creeping back in slowly but surely. I think this pandemic was actually a good thing for us, because it allowed us to sit down. I slept for the first 2 months, but then once I got back up, I was deadly. I shot 2 films. I was ready after I got some much needed rest.
You hibernated.
Let me tell you, I was supposed to go headline the Tahoe Improv on a Wednesday. Mm-hmm. That Monday, I got an email saying we cut shutting down for the COVID. I was like, I was supposed to be there in 2 days. Now, the person who went the week before got all their money. I was 1 week off.
See there? That's what happened to me too. I remember the date. It was March 12th. That weekend, I was supposed to be performing with Cedric the Entertainer. I was so freaking excited. And the day before, they were like, nah, it's a wrap. It ain't happening. And who knew what was about to come after that? So you're right. It did help us settle down a little bit. I didn't realize how tired I was. As a comedians, we always on the road. Our bodies are so taxed with the traveling. I really needed to sit my ass down. So I appreciate that risk.
Yeah, and I would not have sat down unless you mandated it.
Right. Mandated, yes.
We had some court-ordered rest.
Right.
And I needed it. But we're going to segue now into your Nightmare Road story. You know, I don't know if you heard about mine.
Which one?
But we certainly want to hear about yours, because I know you had a few, but just, you know, give us a little taste of what kind of crazy stuff can happen when you're doing this full time as a profession.
So I have been blessed that I have not had a whole bunch of them, but the ones I have had have been memorable. Usually just overall, what is nightmarish is getting a room that is just absolutely disgusting. You know, so early on in my career, I didn't have good sense when it came to contracts and putting in there, hey, I need a 3 or 4 star hotel to stay in. So this particular year, I believe it was 2015, I had done a gig with this promoter in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and it went well. And he thought, okay, well, let's take the show on the road to Florida. Knowing damn well did nobody know and one of the comedians on that flyer when we went to Florida. So we get there. It's about a 5-hour drive from Jackson to Pensacola. And went to check in the hotel, and it smelled like death in there. It was one of them Baymont hotels. I don't know. For me, when it's a hotel where it's just outside, it ain't inside, it ain't no door, it's like just outside and a little porch. That's kind of how you know you might be on some, you know, Motel 6 type stuff. So we walk in and it smelled like the vaginas of whoever was in there last. I don't know if they didn't have Glade at the time or Febreze. Saw chalk cut out or something on the ground. I feel like I saw an outline. I was like, what the hell? And so we decided right then that we were not going to stay at the hotel. And we asked, all right, we got to get ready for the gig. We go to the venue, and it was not a comedy venue at all because, you know, a lot of people think they can just turn any kind of place into a comedy venue. It was more like a fellowship hall. If you've ever been to a black church, you got the sanctuary, and behind the sanctuary, you got the fellowship hall where they eat fish dinners and greens and things. So this particular show was at a fellowship hall. It was supposed to start at 8, right? Few hours passed by, and only 2 people showed up. They kept saying, the people gonna come, the people gonna come, the people gonna come. And I mean, the moon had came up, went down, came back up, and it wasn't but 2 people in there. The promoter said, well, I guess y'all can perform for each other. No, the hell, we not finna perform for each other. No, we not about to do this. And he was like, well, we ain't really make no money, but, you know, we got some food. We gonna feed you. I was like, oh, nah, bro, you about to get shot. Nah, I ain't drove no 5 hours for a fish plate. 5 hours for a fish plate and 2 people. So we end up not doing the gig at all. I didn't want to buy a hotel room because I didn't make any money. And so we freaking slept in the car. We just took a nap in the car and went to the beach the next day and got back on the road and went to Mississippi. So that was by far just the most unpleasant gig I ever had. But it also taught me to put stuff in the contract. Like, say what you want, get a deposit up front, and be specific about what you want. Otherwise, you know, you might get gypped. So that was horrible. And I'm very specific about hotel rooms now because it was the same thing in a Louisiana hotel. It was a ring around the tub. You know, there was some stains on the sheets. I was like, man, this is horrible. So that was one, in Pensacola, where I drove all the way from Mississippi for a gig that never happened. But I still got on Facebook and lied and said the show went well. Took a picture at the beach, like, yeah. Because you can do that on Facebook. How they gonna know? How they gonna know?
You sure can. You sure can do it. Are you on Clubhouse?
I signed up, but I'm not on it yet. I haven't gotten active yet. That's because I'm kind of dealing with social media drain. I'll just be honest with you. Yeah. We got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got Twitter, it's TikTok. You know, I'm not going to have any time for myself. And that's not excluding emails and all of that. So I'm hearing different things about Clubhouse. Are you on it?
I am, but I'm on it under I didn't know what it was. So I got on it under an assumed name.
Oh, okay.
So I done made up some name. And then they were like, oh, it's your voice. I said, oh, no, my voice is very recognizable. It does not matter what name I use, I'm going to get caught.
That Maryland accent, absolutely. You cannot hide.
I cannot hide my voice. So I was like, oh, that's how they doing it. Voices. Oh, I might as well use my real name. And then I heard everybody on there fussing and they saying rude stuff. And then the comics getting on trying to defend themselves. And I'm like, oh, this don't sound too good. I'm like, good gracious. I said, you know what? I mean, I hate when somebody says a comic is not funny because one, is subjective. You know, 2, you're not going to be a rich, successful comedian if somebody don't find you funny.
Right. How'd that work?
How is that going to work? So I'm like, this one ain't funny, that one ain't funny. And my question is always, well, have you seen this person live? Because it's a different show live. You know, we killing it live and then we upload it. You can't even hear the laughs on the YouTube video. So it's like you have to be present to get the full effect of a live show. I've seen all these people live that somebody wants to say is not funny, and I thought they were hilarious live. You know, just
I mean, you mentioned the word subjective, and that's what it boils down to. And the person that comes to mind for me is Tyler Perry. There's so much critique on my timeline. Oh, Tyler don't write this way and his wigs and all of that shit. I'm like, well, apparently enough people thought he was funny to make him a billionaire. So what it boils down to is just catering to your base. He said it. He knows the kind of people he's writing for, and he sticks with that. And he has been consistent with that. So no, there's not one flavor for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna like Chappelle. Some people might like you. They might not like my style, but it's a big, gigantic world. Everybody does not have to like the same thing, but I don't like that either. I mean, I may talk about whatever in my group chat, but you ain't gonna never see me on Facebook, Instagram, on some public forum tearing down another person. You know, because people always ask me about Tiffany Haddish, and I'm like, what you want me to say? I read her book. I know what she's been through. That she ain't no overnight sensation. She been doing this, you know. Ain't nothing wrong with Tiffany Haddish. She's living her purpose. Live yours.
Yeah, I've seen Tiffany live, and I saw her live one time. I was in Vegas, and she was there too. And I went down to the show, and she killed it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, you know, I don't know what people are looking for. Right. You know what I'm saying? But just to blanketly say somebody's not funny, I just think that those are miserable people not living their best lives. And they want to put that off onto somebody else.
If you have this much time to just talk shit about people on social media all day, what the hell are you doing? Where is your talent? What is your gift? What company are you starting? Where is your You're not a mogul, you know? I don't get it.
One of my closest friends had been a comic for almost 30 years, and he passed away. His name was Joe Recker out of Maryland. And this man was so funny. He actually won the second season of BT's Coming to the Stage.
Oh, wow.
The first season, little JJ won it. The second season, Joe Recker won it. And Joe, I can still hear a lot of the stuff that he would say. And whenever somebody would say something, he'd be like, Alycia, don't pay attention to them people. They work down at the post office or the Social Security Administration. They don't know about this.
Right.
They don't know nothing about this industry. I would be crying and laughing. He loved to say the post office and the Social Security Administration. I guess it's the only place everybody working that's not a comic.
Right. But he was right. You got to be careful who you give power to, you know, or your energy to. That's why I don't respond to these stupid comments when people say stuff. I don't even respond to it, because then that means you've won. If I take time out of my day to give you power, that means you've won. So yeah, I'm with Joe on it.
Yeah, see, I got to get where you are. If I see it, I got to respond to it. I spend 19 hours a day cussing folks out, and I am exhausted. Like if I see something, I got to say something. If see something, say something was a person. It's me, and then don't let me type in the words "I've got time today."
But then you go to their page. You go to their page, and they have like one follower. It'd be a bird as a profile picture. You like, this ain't no real damn person. I'm arguing with a robot. You know what I'm saying?
with a Russian bot back there.
Yeah.
With they Russian the English translator. Yeah. On my damn nerve. Yeah, I got that bad. But that's one of my goals for 2021 is to not argue with these crazy people on social media. I have too much that I need to be doing anyway. You know, I can't get those hours back.
It's hard though. Depending on what they say, like I can feel the steam coming in my ears. You know, my mama will go look up their address. You know, she's the creeper on all my comments. She talking about she messaging people to I come to your house. I'm like, woman, you 4'11". What the hell you finna do? But it is tempting. It is tempting to respond. And sometimes I will clap back. I give them like 2 a year. I give people two clap backs a year where I post you and I'm like, you want this heat, you gonna get it. You want this attention, you gonna get it. But I ain't had time to be responding to all these crazy people talking about I'm going to hell or whatever they saying. You ain't know me. You don't know my heart.
Exactly. And you ain't the one determining who going to hell.
Right. Right.
Yeah, the arrogance of some of these people. I love getting into with these so-called evangelicals. I call them evilgelicals. I'm like, if y'all don't go sit your ass down somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, we get into it. Hypocrites, exactly. So I got a couple more questions to ask you to get your opinion on, you know, see what your thought process is on a couple topics.
Okay, let's go.
Know what you think about the COVID vaccine. Are you taking it? You know, how you feel about the vaccine? Because people getting in line right now.
Okay, so I'm not going to take it first. Let me say that. I'm going to let them 20 million take it first to see, you know, if somebody grow an extra toe or something. And if don't nobody grow no extra toes, then I'll take it. But honestly, Alycia, I just feel like Black people have an issue with trusting things in general. It's not so much about the vaccine. We just don't trust nothing. I mean, you have been to a barbecue before. And it's potato salad. You're like, well, who made potato salad? What their house look like? Was it a dog or cat on the counter? What their microwave look like? We just got questions. You know what I'm saying? If they had taking a vaccine and, you know, making in front of me like a hibachi dinner or some shit, maybe I'll take it if I see what's going in it, you know? I just don't think Black people trust anything. And then there's the storyline about the Tuskegee situation where they knew that those Black men had syphilis and made them believe they were being treated for 40 freaking years and they weren't, you know? So we have a reason to not trust, but I'm just going to let other people try it first, because all my friends who are doctors, they're taking it, they're sharing their experiences. And so I believe at some point we may have to take it. I mean, I got vaccinated before I went to Africa, so it's not that I don't believe in them. When I was in the military, I had to get vaccinated. So now that I have a choice, I'm just going to wait. That's what people say when Black people get hurt. I'm just going to wait till all the facts come out, and then we'll see.
I love it. Yeah. So what do you think about now that Donald Trump is out of office? What do you think he's going to do next? I know he's going to be a Twitter troll, and I think Twitter should deactivate his account. But what do you think the future looks like for Joe Biden under Trump troll?
I am even more worried about how uncouth he's going to be now that he's not president, because he didn't have any kind of integrity or any kind of decency while he was president. So I just can't imagine the type of vitriol that he's about to spew at Joe Biden now. But the big thing that I'm thinking is that people should just ignore him. News sources, they do not have to pay attention to him. They don't have to cover him anymore. I would appreciate if they just never cover him on the news again. But if I were him, I would be running. I mean, he has a lot of shit piling up that could put him in jail. So I don't know, maybe he'll buy a private island, take over for Epstein's Island. I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but I'm a little worried, and I hope Twitter does something to kind of maintain some order. I know that they're going to start a new Twitter account for Joe Biden.
Yeah, and what pisses me off about Twitter, they suspend me for the littlest stuff. And
really?
I get suspended like once a month. I mean, it might be, I'm saying stuff like kill yourself, but that shouldn't get me suspended.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's just a suggestion.
Freedom
it's not
speech.
A mandate. Yeah, it's freedom of speech. So I'm getting suspended, and Trump saying all kinds of stuff. He's lying on a global scale, and he's not getting penalized. They just put a little thing by a little disclaimer.
So this might not be true.
They put a disclaimer by mine.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, hell to the no. So what I would like is when it ain't gonna happen, but I would have loved. See, that's why they would never make me president, because I'm gonna do some gangster shit. What I would have done was I would have made the Attorney General Hillary Clinton and let her fuck all them up.
that black lady in New York, that lawyer, she said, look, we don't care what's going down, whether he's president or not. He getting these charges. He getting these charges.
Would you ever run for office?
Shit. In my hometown, maybe. This is actually a question that comes up often, because I talk a lot about politics on my page. And, when people see you got any kind of good damn sense, they be like, run for office. But it seems like when you run, that's when people turn on you. I would rather have my influence as a comedian where I don't have to meet some kind of politician standard. You know what I'm saying? I can always come back on, I'm just a comedian who happens to know a little bit about politics. But, even in my city of Jackson, like they were all gung-ho for the mayor. And then when he got in there, they got on his ass about the potholes, and it was like, well, he needs time to get them filled. He has to secure the funds. So I don't want to get turned on. So my answer is no. I do not want to run for office, because people will turn on your ass quick. They'll turn on you. Yeah,
they very fair weather. It's like, except for Mayor Marion Barry in D.C. We wrote it out with Mayor Marion Barry.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
He was good to us, and we were good to him.
But even with Obama is so torn. We were all, yes, we can, and supporting. And now it's like, dang, they like, Obama didn't do this for the Black community. And it's just a lot of hatred, especially with everybody having a voice on social media, and people can spread lies and narratives that are not true. So I don't think I want that pressure. Because then I will have to cut somebody out like you do on social media.
Yeah, I'm good at that. But see, Obama, I think he had it hard because of him being half black and half white. The black would be cussing out the half white side. So that's where he gets it. But last question, this is going to be a two-parter.
Okay.
So, and it's about comedy. Have you ever had a joke stolen or been present watching somebody else do a joke was not theirs?
Yes. And I remember I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and I had written this joke about the Jackson Zoo. And the zoo is a little distressed, and I was talking about if you go to the zoo, We had regular animals like Rottweilers and shit, pigs at the zoo, you know. And I was at this gig and I had just started doing comedy. I had just come up with a joke and this guy had been on the show with me several times. And then he started doing the joke. And I was like, I'm right here. Like, you couldn't wait till I left or wait to another show. And so I approached him about it. And he swore that he wasn't stealing the joke. You know, what it was, I think maybe he had heard me say it and digested it and then repeated it and just forgot. And so I just told him, you know, you can have the joke. And I just kind of switched it up. So that has happened. I've also had somebody accuse me of stealing a joke. But the good thing about me is I have sent every joke that I have ever written to myself in an email. So this joke that I was being accused of stealing, I actually have the timestamp in my AOL email when I wrote it. And I have not had a conversation with this comedian about it, but I know that she is telling people that I stole this joke and I did not steal it and I have proof. Mm-hmm. Every set I do, I email it to myself or it's in my voice recorder. So I have to protect myself in that way.
Yeah, that's the best vindication. I had some new comic that was doing a show at Flappers in the Yoo-Hoo room to say that I had taken a joke of his. I was like, what? And I said, well, what joke is this? So he tells me the joke. For me, a lot of my jokes are somewhere on a tape. Mm-hmm. So I went back through and found the joke. And this was like maybe in like a June. I went back and found this joke back in December. It was a Christmas tree behind me. Mm-hmm. So I went and sent him the link. I said, this is from last December, me doing this joke, you know. So like you said, it's good that you can have some form of some backup, because you're gonna hear some crazy stuff. And I had one guy, he had moved to LA from Chicago. He was like, I'm trying to get some sets and trying to get some, and I get him on stuff. I'd be like, okay, well, I got this little open mic. I'm gonna try some stuff out, but they'll put you on or meet over here. This is a place. So I was telling him where to go and getting him on shows, little shows and stuff. This dude done stole my stuff.
Oh, my God.
I had this killer joke about the Asian man who got his ass whooped on an American Airlines flight.
the one who got dragged?
Got dragged. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Whew. So, and I had a unique perspective on that situation. And I look, and he at the Laugh Factory, you know, Chocolate Sundays and the Laugh Factory put up clips. Mm-hmm. I wasn't there that night. I'm looking online at him doing my joke on the stage of the Laugh Factory. I ain't say nothing to him. I just said hashtag never again. I ain't taking him with me. I ain't gonna be in no room with him. If he come in the back of the room, I'm just gonna do crowd work. You know,
right? So, don't do none of your good jokes.
None of my good. I ain't approaching people over no material because I just write some other stuff. But you know, it's just frustrating when you done help somebody and they got you.
Yeah. See, that was like 2014 for me, and I ain't have but 7 jokes. And I'm like, hey, bro, you can't be telling my jokes. I ain't got but 7. But like Roy Wood Jr. talks about finding the third angle, because sometimes what it boils down to is we're all seeing the same thing. We're all reading the same news, and then we'll take that low-hanging fruit sometimes for the joke. And now you can't even do that because it's a meme already. So it's already out there. I'm trying to do what Roy Wood Jr. says, which is find that third angle, or just be very personal to where can't nobody steal it anyway.
Right, exactly. And that's what makes Roy such a genius, because he does get that third angle of a joke.
Yes.
You know, it's a trip, because the worst thing is doing your own joke and having somebody else say this somebody else's joke.
Right. You're like, I thought of
it. Well, thank you so much, Rita, for being a guest on Nightmare Road Stories. You have just made my week. I've always wanted to talk to you, and this coming up with this show gave me a perfect opportunity.
Well, congratulations for adjusting and adapting during this challenging time. I think this has made us expand creatively. So I appreciate you having me, and know that I am a gigantic fan of yours, and I can't wait to see you live or open up for you, whatever you need me to do. I got you.
Oh, I'll be opening for you.
Oh, but no, we'll see.
But let me know. I want to know if you got anything you want to plug.
Yes. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rita Brent Comedy, and check out the Rita Brent Report. I'm always going to be doing a satirical take on the news. It'll include some of my prayers and some of my music. And that's the big thing I have coming up right now. I'm also going to do a live version of Kamala, that song. So check out my music on Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify as well. And follow me at Rita Brent Comedy. And I have a special on Epix TV if you want to check that out. It released in November, a 30-minute TV special where I was really, really honest. This was the first time I talked about my sexuality on a national platform. So that was a big deal for me.
Wow. Okay. So what's the name of the special?
The name of the show is Unprotected Sets. The name of the show is Unprotected Sets. And so they feature multiple comedians. And my episode is one that aired in November. So it's about 30 minutes on Epix TV.
And you mentioned you have been married to a man. So did you have to come out to your mama?
Yeah, but I came out to my mom when I was in the 10th grade. I was fooling everybody else. My mama been known. She been known.
So did your mama say, why you marrying this man, baby?
No, my mother is a minister, so she wanted me to marry a man.
She said, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, she was happy as hell. I could not keep up certain things. Rest in peace to my jaws during that time.
Yeah, you're like, no more blowjobs. No more, this is a job.
It was.
This blow is a job.
I stopped hanging out with my friends. I was like, I got to get some rest so I can do this head later. I ain't going to be able to hang out with y'all. I got to meditate. I got to pray so I can be successful tonight. So yeah, I'm a newlywed. That's right. Finally, I'm out and I'm free. No more hiding.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
On our next episode, join me and special guest George Wallace. Nightmare Road Stories is a production of ElectraCast Media. Our executive producers are Mark Netter and Peter Rafelson. Our producer is April Simmons. Our editor is Jamal Holmes. Theme music by Emir Oshalai. Please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you like the show, please give us a rating and tell your friends. If you don't like the show, please give us a rating and tell your friends. Until next time, I'm your host, Alycia Cooper, and keep your ears on the road.